Today we'll be looking at ElevenLabs. ElevenLabs is an audio AI tool that allows you to do voiceovers, dubbing, and even clone your own voice. Today, I'll be showing you all the features and what you can do with ElevenLabs. For me personally, I use this tool very frequently in my daily workflow because it is very affordable and really easy to use. So let's get into it. So if you head over to ElevenLabs.io, this is the homepage and this is what you'll see. Now let's head over to the first tab over here, which is Voices. Over here, there are a lot of presets that you can choose. For example, like Rachel.
You got to be careful if you don't know where you're going because you might not get there.
Or Drew.
I believe that we are fundamentally the same and have the same basic potential.
I'd rather regret the things that I've done than the things that I've not done.
Now, if you don't like any of the voices on this page, you can head over to Library. And over here, there are a lot of community voices that you can use. So let's say if I type in British male deep voice. And you can select and choose any of the voices that you like.
A man is not old as long as he is seeking something.
Evil is evil, lesser, greater.
Darkness falls across the land. The midnight hour is close at hand.
Hi there, I'm Archie. If you're after a young, energetic, and authentic British teen voice, then I'm here to help.
So for this video, we're just gonna head over and use Dom because I like how he sounds. So we're just gonna click on use over here. And right now, we can start typing. And whatever that we type into the text box over here is going to generate an audio with Dom's voice. Now, let's find a paragraph of Little Red Riding Hood. So I want to just copy the very first paragraph of this story, Little Red Riding Hood, and we want to paste it into ElevenLabs. Now on the side, we have some options to adjust how the speech is going to be. If you want the speech to be faster or slower, more stable, or it has more variable. Personally, I find that if we put it at more stable, it's going to have less emotions in the final speech. And if we put it at more variable, it's going to have more tones, more ups and downs in the speech itself. So we're going to put it somewhere around in the middle. Similarity is basically how much do you want it to sound like Dom. The higher it is, the more it's going to sound like Dom. The lower it is, it's going to change the tone a bit, maybe a higher or lower pitch. So we're gonna put it somewhere around 80%. For style exaggeration, it is only recommended if the style of the speech should be exaggerated compared to the uploaded audio. So if you have a very monotone-ish original source, then you might want to crank this up a bit. But in this case, I think Dom sounds pretty good, so I want to keep it at none. So once we're done with the settings, you can select the models over here. If you are at multilingual, you can select 11 multilingual V2, or if you want it to be faster, you can always go for this model over here, which is 11 Flash 2.5. But personally, I think multilingual has a higher quality, so let's go for this. So once we're done with everything, we're just gonna hit generate speech.
Once upon a time, there was a dear little girl who was loved by everyone who looked at her, but most of all by her grandmother, and there was nothing that she would not have given to the child. Once she gave her a little cap of red velvet, which suited her so well that she would never wear anything else. So she was always called Little Red Riding Hood.
Now, I think it's a pretty solid generation. You can hear the guy taking some breath in between the sentences. It's pretty realistic. But for story-wise, I think I might want to crank the speed down a bit, somewhere around 0.8. And I think the voice tone is kind of monotone, so I want to put in more variables in the speech itself. Similarity, I think it's fine, so we're just gonna keep it there, and we're gonna generate another speech.
Once upon a time, there was a dear little girl who was loved by everyone who looked at her, but most of all by her grandmother, and there was nothing that she would not have given to the child. Once she gave her a little cap of red velvet, which suited her so well that she would never wear anything else. So she was always called Little Red Riding Hood.
I think this is too slow and kind of overly dramatic, but that's the fun part of AI. The trial and error process is part of, getting the generations that you want. And take your time to adjust the setting for the speed, the stability, and similarity so that you can find the perfect audio clip that you're looking for. So that's the text-to-speech feature. Now, the next feature that I want to show you is called voice design. Let's say if you have a voice on your mind and you just couldn't find it anywhere else. So let's design that voice. Head over to voice design. And over here, you can just type in a prompt based on what kind of voices that you want to generate. Over here, we have a random prompt, an old British male with raspy, deep voice, professional, relaxed, and assertive. So let's click on generate voice over here. And what it does is that it will generate that voice based on our description. So over here, we have three options based on this prompt that we have. So let's listen to the first one.
The night air carried whispers of betrayal, thick as London fog. I adjusted my cufflinks. After all, even spies must maintain appearances, especially when the game is afoot.
That sounds pretty good. Now, how about the second one?
The night air carried whispers of betrayal, thick as London fog. I adjusted my cufflinks. After all, even spies must maintain appearances, especially when the game is afoot.
Sounds pretty good. How about the last one?
The night air carried whispers of betrayal, thick as London fog.
That doesn't sound good at all. So you could just add on the prompt based on how you want it to sound. So let's go for the second voice over here. A middle-aged American female with crisp, clear voice, confident and charismatic. So we're just gonna generate and see how it goes.
The Galapagos Archipelago, a living laboratory of evolution, lies 600 miles off Ecuador's coast. These volcanic islands host a remarkable array of endemic species.
That sounds pretty good. How about the next one?
The Galapagos Archipelago, a living laboratory of evolution.
Sounds kind of similar. And
The Galapagos Archipelago, a living laboratory of evolution, lies 600 miles off Ecuador's coast. These volcanic...
well, she sounds like she doesn't want to be here. Yeah. So that's voice design. The next thing that I want to show you is how to clone your own voice. So let's head back to the voice tab over here. And over here, we have add a new voice. So we're just going to click on it and click on instant voice clone. So the process is actually pretty simple. All you have to do is to drag and drop an audio file. It could be an MP3 or a .wav file, and the AI is going to analyze that audio and clone that voice out. But in any case, if you don't have an audio file, you could just click on record audio, talk to the microphone, and it works exactly the same. So what we're going to do right now is we're just going to hit the start recording button, and I want to bring back the Little Red Riding Hood story that we had earlier, and I'm just going to read somewhere around 10 to 20 seconds of it so that the AI can collect my voice data and clone my voice. So we want to hit start over here, and we're going to read. Once upon a time, there was a dear little girl who was loved by everyone who looked at her, but most of all by her grandmother, and there was nothing that she would not have given to the child. Once she gave her a little cap of red velvet, which suited her so well that she would never wear anything else, so she was always called Little Red Riding Hood. One day, her mother said to her, "Come, Little Red Riding Hood, here's a piece of cake and a bottle of wine. Take them to your grandmother. She is ill and weak, and they will do her good. Set out before it gets hot, and when you are going, walk nicely and quietly, and do not run off the path, or you may fall and break the bottle. And then your grandmother will get nothing. And when you go into her room, don't forget to say good morning and don't peep into every corner before you do it." So I got somewhere around 10 to 20 seconds of my voice data. So I want to come back over here. I'm not exactly a very good reader, but it's okay to stutter when you're recording because it only needs that voice data. So I want to click on next and I want to name this Ryan's voice. Language would be English. And I just don't want to type any description inside and click on save voice. So I can now click on generate speech. So right now, all I have to do is pretty much the same as before. Type in the text and click on generate speech. Once upon a time, there was a dear little girl who was loved by everyone who looked at her, but most of all by her grandmother. And there was nothing that she would not have given to the child. Once she gave her a little cap of red velvet, which suited her so well that she would never wear anything else. So she was always called Little Red Riding Hood. Yeah, that sounds kind of monotone, but let's crank the variable up a bit, somewhere around 30%, and let's click Generate Speech. Maybe the similarity, let's crank it down a bit. Once upon a time, there was a dear little girl who was loved by everyone who looked at her, but most of all by her grandmother, and there was nothing that she would not have given to the child. Once she gave her a little cap of red velvet, which suited her so well that she would never wear anything else. So she was always called Little Red Riding Hood. The AI sounds so much better than me. Damn. So that's the text-to-speech function. But there is something that is very similar called the voice changer. So basically what you do is that you could select a voice. For instance, let's select Dom from before. And all I have to do is to click on record audio. And what it does is that it will take in my voice and convert it into Dom's voice. So let's try it out. So I'm going to click on start recording. And I can say whatever into the microphone, and whatever that it recorded, it will turn my voice into Dom's voice. So we have somewhere around 15 seconds over here, and we're going to click on stop and click generate speech.
And I can say whatever into the microphone, and whatever that it recorded, it will turn my voice into Dom's voice. So we have somewhere around 15 seconds over here, and we're going to click on.
Yeah, that sounds really good. But one thing to take note is that your input, that means your microphone or whatever sound device that you're recording on, is going to affect the output as well. So keep that in mind. Now, the next thing that we want to explore is the sound effects page. If you're looking for sound effects for your video, sometimes it could be a hassle to search through tons of library or download from different stock websites. And ElevenLabs has this really cool feature for you to generate sound effects. All you have to do is to describe the sound effect and click on generate, and it will generate based on the prompt you wrote. For example, F1 racing car. And there are a few settings that you can adjust on more creative, or do you want to follow the prompt? So let's keep it somewhere in balance. And you can change the duration as well, whether you want it to be 8, 9, or maybe like 10 seconds. So let's click on generate sound. And it is bringing your imagination to life. All right. So over here, we got 4 different generations based on the prompt that we wrote, which is F1 racing. So let's hear it out. I think all of them sound very decent. It's a very straightforward tool to use. All you have to do is to type in the prompt and click on generate. If you don't like it, redo it again until you find the perfect sound that you're looking for. So the last feature that we're going to look at is voice dubbing. So let's head over to the dubbing page over here. And we're gonna create a new dub. Project name, let's just call this Ryan Video. The tag language, we're gonna put it on English. Target language, let's put it in Japanese. So over here, you can select your audio or video source. You can upload your own video or get it from YouTube, TikTok, or any other URL as well. So over here, we want to upload my previous video, which I spoken in English. So today we want to look at Krea AI. Now, Krea AI is a image/video generating AI tool that compacts a lot of different models. So once we're done with everything, we want to just click on Create Dub. It's going to upload the video and it's going to take some time to process the dub as well. And the dubbing is done. So let's look at the results. We're just going to click on this and click on View. And this is how I sound in Japanese. そこで今日は Krea AI について見てみましょう。Krea AI は画像/ビデオ生成 AI ツールです。様々なモデルを一つのサブスクリプションにまとめたツールです。私は個人的に画像生成のために Krea を非常によく利用しています。他のジェネレータと比べて Krea が提供するクオリティとスピードは本当に良いです。そして今日このビデオでは Krea AI で使用できるすべてのツールとビデオを見ていきます。Well, personally, I'm not very familiar with Japanese and I cannot speak Japanese as well. So if you're watching this, you can't speak Japanese. If you're fluent in Japanese, feel free to drop a comment, rate it out of 10, and tell me how accurate that is. If you would like to subscribe to ElevenLabs, there is a few plans that you can choose from. The first one is free. You can generate up to 10 minutes of audio and you can generate speech in 29 languages, but you don't have access to the voice cloning tool that I showcased just now. The starter plan is at $5 a month. You have 30,000 credits a month, somewhere around 30 minutes of audio generation, and you have access to the voice cloning tool and the dubbing editor for more control over translation and timing. There is also the Pro plan at $99 a month, the Scale plan at $330, and Business plan at $1,320 a month. The pricing is pretty broad and it really goes down to what plan that you need. And that is all for ElevenLabs. If you do learn something today, feel free to hit the like button. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to subscribe. My name is Ryan Wei and I'll see you in the next video.